And Luther will still be alive. He will be an evil presence that will live inside the ring that will try to corrupt us.
Yeah, and if not for the fact that this RPG might be older than Lord of the Rings, I could sort of imagine Sauron going, "What a damn ripoff."
Sir Main is overcome with grief by his son's death. With trembling hands, he takes the blood-stained tunic from beneath the young man's head, unfolds it, and drapes it over his lifeless body. To your surprise, you note the insignia on the lapels are similar to those in Sir Main's uniform. His son held the rank of a captain, the same as his father. "I must go to his regiment," he says, his voice wearing. "It is right and fitting that I take command of them now." After attending to the burial of his son, the grieving captain returns to the Canatarium to find out where his son's regiment is stationed. He learns they are at the Reloni Bridge, at the very heart of the battle. Before he leaves, he thanks you for trying to save his son's life, and he suggests 2 routes by which you can reach the city of Cassian from here. The first route is the most direct, but it is also the most hazardous. It requires you to pass through the enemy lines at Reloni Bridge, cross the southern tip of Ildanora, and then continue your journey north by way of the Slovarian Plain. The second route will avoid the fighting at Reloni Bridge, but it would mean having to pass through the city of Duadon, Prince Luther's stronghold. And you should apparently consult your map according to this. So, you can now go through over the Reloni Bridge and over the Slovarian Plains, or through Duadon and Brem.
Going over the bridge would likely mean having to take part in a battle. Maybe, if that's the case, we could help solve the situation here, shall we say?
Yeah, and it will also mean that we could help the captain.
Yeah.
And we will probably have to go to Duadon at some point anyway, because that's where Luther is.
Yeah, and if I may be a little...
No, going to Duadon would be the other option. But breaking his army would... if we end up breaking his army here, that might really help the situation. Help resolve the deadlock here.
Anyway, Ra, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I need to be a little brutal and a little honest here and say that, yeah, we already have a captain of this new regiment, if you will, but I am not really confident in a very horribly grief-stricken captain, so I say we stay around to help him.
Okay, so we are in agreement that we should go over the bridge.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's cross
I mean,
the bridge.
yeah, we need to save Samalon, but Palmyrion needs our help too.
Indeed.
So if going across the bridge means that we have to fight a battle, that would probably help.
Yeah.
Like I said, we might be able to help break the deadlock.
Very well, Grandmaster. If this is where you choose to proceed with your journey, then you're welcome to ride with me. You accept Sir Main's offer, and within the hour you and he are on the road once more, this time riding north on horseback towards the battle that is raging at the Reloni Bridge. When you are 3 miles from the river, you can see the night sky lit up by the fires of war. At 2 miles, the sound of singing steel and dying men can be heard on the wind. At a mile distant, you see fields littered with the wounded and dying recently evacuated from the front, and regiments of young Palmyrian reserves nervously awaiting their turn to go forward. And when at last you catch sight of the bridge itself, your stomach churns as you witness the carnage being wrought here. The bridge and the surrounding banks of the river are carpeted with dead and dying men, twisted into impossible shapes. Massive engines of war bombard the soldiers on both sides, raining fiery death and destruction upon their heads. You have seen many battles in your time, but none to rival the savagery of the conflict that is unfolding here. Sir Main catches hold of a young lieutenant whose face is covered with dry blood. Part of his scalp has been sliced away, but he seems unaware of his gaping wound. Sir Main sparks a question and the man answers him by pointing to a regiment of pikemen stationed on the distant hills. "There stands the Black Ravens, my son's men. I must away now, Grandmaster, so I bid you farewell. The enemy have been repulsed this last hour and are gathering themselves for the next attack. If you are determined to cross the water to their side, you should attempt it now before they advance again. Zemain turns his horse about and makes ready to ride up. By the gods, Grandmaster, you are brave to have chosen this road home, he says, saluting you. I wish you luck. May kind Ishur keep you safe. Farewell, my friend.
My question is just
Farewell.
how I can ignore having, well, a good deal of your scalp just removed, but yeah.
Probably reduced sensitivity to pain due to shock.
Oh, like
Or maybe it happened some time ago, so he's just like, it's not a fresh wound anymore. It did say it was dried blood, so yeah.
Also, sometimes in the middle of wars, sometimes people just don't really. They don't become almost numb to the things that happen around them.
Yeah, that's because the body kind of realizes that there are more important things to focus on right now, like not dying.
I mean, some of the best examples of this on film is in Saving Private Ryan at the start when, on Omaha Beach.
Mm.
By the way, you should see that movie. I mean, it's violent as all hell, but it's a really good movie.
Mm. As the captain gallops away, you look with mounting dread at the slaughter. To cross the river by the bridge is impossible. The only way across are either upstream to the north or downstream to the south. To the north you see a dense wall of trees on the far bank, which, judging by the number of arrow-struck bodies lying nearby, you hazard is full of enemy archers. To the south, the far shore is a mass of heavily fortified trenches which filled to overflowing with Elder Norn assault troops. So, do you wish to go north or south of the bridge?
So either be turned into a pincushion or face assault troopers.
I think we'll stand a better chance. Honestly, I think we'll have a better chance against assault troopers than archers. That's just my opinion, but...
Well, it sounds true, but...
On the other hand, taking out their archers would be a serious blow to them. That's their weak spot. You don't strike the enemy where he's strongest, you strike him where he's weak. If we manage to take out... If we fight these guys and manage to take some of them out, that would really weaken them.
Might be an idea, but what...
I mean, in a battle, you don't attack the enemy's strongest troops. Ideally, you destroy the weaker troops around them, and thereby defeat the enemy, and thereby isolate the stronger troops, and thereby defeating them without actually engaging them at all.
In other words, disabling the enemy war machine by going after weak spot after weak spot. So the strong spots won't matter in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what would you say about Gevinea?
Your opinion is needed.
Archers or assault troops? What do we fight?
Well, that's... We're probably better off against the assault troops because we can get up close with our sword. We can only really fire one arrow at the time.
Yeah, but fight the archers, I mean...
what are you saying about it?
I mean, we're pretty strong by now. I mean...
Warlord's point was
that... How many health points do we have left?
Let me have a look. We have 22.
Yeah. To sum up Warlord's point, he meant that killing the archers might be a better boon to your allies.
Yeah, I can see what he means by that, because then they can get up close and personal with the assault guys. Sounds like an idea. Let's go with that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably have to find some way to get up close with the archers, and it won't be easy, but we'll think of something. Maybe we can use one of our abilities or something to help protect us.
You ride to a barricade that is within 20 yards of the river's edge. To the astonishment of the soldiers who are sheltering here from a hail of firebombs and arrows, you leap from your horse and sprint headlong towards the water. Probably yelling something like, "First one in's not a rotten egg! Yeehaw!" The moment you hit the freezing water, you stay submerged as you begin the long swim to the opposite bank. Roll the die.
No, we don't get to fight any of them. Damn it.
2.
You are more than 2/3 of the way across the river when you become entangled in the submerged wreckage of a siege engine. You fight to free yourself, but in doing so you quickly expend the last of the air in your lungs.
Let me guess. That was 36th time I died.
No, you're not dead yet, but
Oh.
you have to fight to free yourself. And you don't have any Sabito or Kyle. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, give me a roll of the die and add 1 for having grand exits.
9?
9?
9.
9. You pull free from the shattered timbers and continue your swim, reaching the far bank as quickly as your aching lungs will allow. Using the corpses that litter the shoreline for cover, you crawl slowly from the river and slither on your stomach into the wood, where it commands this stretch of bank. Your stealth and your camouflage skills keep you hidden from the watchful eyes of the Eldenoran archers who infest these trees, but they do not fool their keen-nosed war dogs. You barely reach the tree line when they begin to bark
Oh,
and
now
howl.
we're getting to them. I was afraid we were going to go around them.
Yeah. The cry of the war dogs grows steadily louder until the Eldenoran archers lift them off the leash. Then, like a wave of hellish demons, the yellow-eyed hounds come bounding through the trees, homing in directly on your scent. The leading war dog, a great grey beast with teeth that glint like polished daggers, storms through the foliage less than 20 yards from where you're crouching. It fixes you with its gruesome stare and turns towards you. Do you wish to use your bow?
Yes.
Yeah.
You draw a fine arrow in the blink of an eye. The shaft whistles through the trees and hits the war dog squarely between its hideously yellow eyes. For a few seconds it continues to bound forward, then its front legs collapses beneath its weight and it crashes, nose first, into the soft forest earth. Swiftly you shoulder your bow and run headlong into the trees, desperate to make use of what little time you have gained by slaying the pack leader. Give me a roll of the die and add 1 for having hunt mastery. You didn't have grand pathmanship, right?
Nope. Only pathmanship.
Okay, remember correctly. Then roll the die and add 1.
8.
Drawing on all your camouflage and tracking skills, you manage to evade the war dog pack and escape into the depths of the forest. You press on through the trees, your senses alert to the slightest sound. After an hour or so, you stumble across a stream where you stop briefly to gulp a mouthful of icy fresh water. Beyond the stream, the trees become far denser, offering you better cover from the wandering groups of Eldenorans who seem to be positioned all over this vast timberland. It is not until later that you realize that they have not been posted here. They are deserters, hiding out in the forest to avoid a certain death at the Roloni Bridge. By morning, you have covered several miles of forest and avoided all contact with the Eldenorans. Then, shortly before midday, you come across the outlying huts of a fortified town, which sits astride a busy woodland trail. A glance at your map reveals this to be Fabry, an Eldenoran outpost close to the Slovian border. From the top of a pine tree, you look down on this settlement, which is ringed by a palisade. 5 cavalry regiments are camped within this perimeter wall of sharpened logs, and you note several senior druids conversing with the regimental commanders. It would seem that Prince Luther is in league with the evil plague lords of Rule. That would, that kind of makes sense. I mean, it fits with all we heard about the guy before now, and I mean, we were told that he was allied with the senior druids by that dying lad, but yeah, that now really confirms it. Good job, Lone Wolf, good job. While you're observing Fabry from your vantage point high above, you notice a patrol of horsemen wending their way through the trees towards one of the outlying huts. On arriving, they dismount and enter, leaving the horses tied to a split rail, but otherwise unattended. Tempted by the opportunity, you descend the tree and make your way towards the hut. Stealthily, you approach the nearest horse, using your Magnified discipline of animal control to keep him calm as you untie his reins. But you have only just released them from the rail when suddenly the door of the hut swings open and you find yourself confronted by the horse rider, an Eldenoran cavalry scout. Do you wish to use Kai Search?
Yeah, I think that could be useful.
You focus a blast of psychic energy at the trooper, lose 1 endurance point, and he collapses in the doorway, clasping his head and screaming in agony. His cries of pain alert his fellow horsemen, but by the time they come to his aid, you and the shocked trooper's horse are nowhere to be seen. You keep to the trees and head south in the wide arc around the Eldenoran settlement at Fabry. During your ride through the woodland, you discover the following items in the bags and blanket roll which are attached to the horse saddle. There's a sword, a rope, a tinderbox, a blanket, a bow, a quiver with 5 arrows, 12 loon, and a spyglass.
Well,
Okay, I think we should at least take the loon and the 5 arrows.
let me see if we still can carry any more loon. Last time, I think we filled it to the brim, so
If I remember correctly, yeah, you don't have any room left.